First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Hi, welcome to First at 5 from WUFT News. I am Ariana Psarakos.
And I'm Cristina Santiago. Thanks for joining us.
From groceries to gas, we've all felt the pain of higher prices over the past year.
Today, the Federal Reserve raised a key interest rate again. The idea is to slow inflation, but as Chris Pallone reports, some will fear it'll slow the economy too much.
Interest rates on the rise once again, up 0.75 of a point, the fourth rate hike this year as the Federal Reserve tries to get inflation, the higher prices everyone's been paying, under control.
My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship, especially on those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials like food, housing, and transportation.
The Fed walking a tightrope trying to slow the economy to bring down prices without going too far.
The real risk is if they do too much, they will tip us into a recession.
The nation's economy uniquely affected by the pandemic, which caused product shortages, and the war in Ukraine, which is affecting the prices of food and fuel.
The Fed has never had to face this kind of inflation battle, which is driven not by an overheating economy, but an economy that's suffering from log jams tied to a global pandemic.
Gas prices continue to fall. Unemployment is near a 50-year low and wages are up. But consumer confidence is at its lowest level in more than a year. Americans continue to pay more for utilities, clothes, food, and gas. The White House insists a recession is not inevitable.
Hopefully the Fed is able to achieve what it's setting out to do, which is to bring down inflation and generate what they call a soft landing.
The rate hike means Americans will pay more on their credit card debt, and the cost to borrow money for things like cars, homes, and business loans will likely also rise. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.
President Joe Biden is now clear of COVID precautions. The White House released his home test today, and the president later spoke to the media from the Rose Garden. The president and many other officials are warning people to be vigilant about the ongoing wave of COVID. As Meredith Wood explains, West Virginia's governor is warning that it can still prove deadly.
This absolute pandemic is not going away. It is going to be here a while.
A highly infectious subvariant of Omicron called BA.5 is fueling a new surge of COVID-19 cases in the United States.
The likelihood of you being infected is extremely high, especially if you've not been vaccinated. But the problem is, even if you have been vaccinated, you could very well get this.
New data from the CDC shows BA.5 has become the dominant variant in the U.S., making up more than 80% of new cases in the country last week.
As a physician, if I had someone at risk and hasn't been vaccinated with a boost in several months, I would not want to wait a few months. I would want to get them covered now. And then when you get to the fall, then you're concerned about when you're going to give them that additional boost.
This fall, Pfizer and Moderna may have a new version of their boosters, pairing the old formulas with new ones that specifically target newer subvariants. In the meantime, the U.S. is seeing more than 100,000 new cases every day.
Now let's focus in on our local area. It poured yesterday afternoon.
It did, and it was hot. WFT's Derrah joins us now to let us know more about more heat and storms that are possible this evening.
Lots of more storms popping up this evening, but right now temperatures are in the mid to upper 90s, but it feels like it's over 100 degrees outside. A few cumulus clouds in the sky, so lots of sun coverage as you're walking to class. As you can see, the bulk of our storms are going to be south of Gainesville, focused in the Ocala area. This evening, temperatures are going to be in the upper 80s, but gradually cool down as those thunderstorms keep on rolling through. I'm going to have more information on the heat that's passing through this weekend because as not a lot of scattered thunderstorms are going to pass through Gainesville, our temperatures are going to be ramping up the rest of this week. I'll have more information on that in my full forecast. Back to you.
Thanks, Derrah. Last week we told you about a gun buyback planned by the Gainesville Police Department for this past weekend. Today we have some results from the event. DPD collected approximately 70 firearms according to the department's Facebook page. 18 of those were handguns and 2 were AR-15 style rifles. In the same post, DPD thanked its community partners, including the Office of the State Attorney and Williams Temple Church of God in Christ.
A new Best Hospital report ranked U.S. Health Shands highly in healthcare specialties. Based on analysis of over 4,500 adult hospitals, 5 specialties ranked among the nation's top 50. This includes orthopedics, ear, nose, and throat at 40th, geriatrics at 45th, pulmonology at 40th, and lung surgery at 48th, and urology at 48th.
Now for some news around the state. A Lamborghini erupted in flames after crashing onto the roof of a home in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale Fire Rescue said the SUV slid off the roof, then burst into flames. Officials said the occupants of the Lamborghini left the scene before fire officials or the police arrived. The driver of a second vehicle involved in the accident suffered minor injuries. No one was injured in the home, however, the house was vacated.
Now for some state news. A pet shop owner in South Florida is asking the public to help solve the theft of a puppy from her store. Reporter Suji Nam explains why they're so concerned about this little pup.
I was crying. I was so upset. We really, really love our puppies.
It wasn't a phone call Susan Minix was hoping to get from her employees last Saturday that a 9-week-old Pikatese puppy was stolen from her pet store in Lake Worth.
And she was playing with the puppy here in this area, and she then was out of the area, was told by a staff person to put the puppy back in the playpen, which she didn't, and she put the puppy underneath her jacket and walked out the door.
Surveillance video shows the woman was going back and forth in the pen area for about 20 minutes before taking the puppy with her a little after 4 p.m. Staff is concerned the puppy won't survive because it's so young and needs special care.
If they don't eat, if they get stressed out, which of course a situation like this is going to stress the dog out, then if they don't eat, they can have hypoglycemia. They can actually go into shock and die from that.
To prevent something like this again, Minix said she will be putting a plexiglass in the playpen area, and whoever would like to take a look at the puppies will need to show their driver's license. The puppy has been microchipped, and animal control, as well as all vets in the 15-mile radius, are aware of the situation. And a message to the woman who stole the puppy.
Please bring our baby back. It's a baby dog and it needs special care. And we want to be able to take care of it. We want to know that it's safe.
A reward is being offered for the puppy's safe return.
Coming up on First at 5, we'll have the latest news about arts in Gainesville from the Phillips Center to the Art Museum.
But first, WFT's Jacob Sedesse brings us the latest technology news in this week's Text Tomorrow. That's up next after the break.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back to First at 5. I'm Jacob Sedesse, and this is WUFT's Tech Tomorrow. If you haven't received a robocall regarding your car's extended warranty, you might be one of a few. The FCC is requiring U.S. telecom providers to block millions of those robocalls every day. In a Thursday announcement, the FCC said most of those calls are considered illegal under U.S. law. Robocalls about extended car warranties have been the #1 consumer complaint to the FCC for the past 2 years. The FCC said telecom companies that continue to allow the illegal calls could face penalties. President Joe Biden met virtually with a group of CEOs, labor leaders, and government officials Monday to talk about the CHIPS Act. The bill would provide incentives for semiconductor manufacturers and more than $50 billion in funding in hopes of countering the worldwide chip shortage, limiting access to devices like phones and cars. During Monday's meeting, Biden urged Congress to pass the bill.
The CHIPS Act, in my view, is going to advance the nation's competitiveness and our technological edge. You know, we've been working closely with the Senate and the House to finalize a strong bipartisan bill. Congress must pass this bill as soon as possible so we can get it to my desk and we can sign it and get moving.
The Senate could pass the bill this week. In some more fun news, the National Football League is joining the streaming world. On Monday, it launched NFL Plus. For about $5 a month or $40 a year, subscribers can access live, local, and primetime games. That's the same content it has been offering for free on the app for the past several years. Viewers who also want full game replays can sign up for the premium version, which is about $10 a month. The streaming service is exclusively available on phones and mobile tablets, which means users won't be able to stream games to their televisions. Finally, one Apple Store enthusiast recreated the magic of some of the first stores. Developer Michael Stieber released a new app Monday that allows users to visit some key Apple stores virtually, in the same form they appeared on their opening day. The recreated stores include the first store in Tyson's Corner, the store at the Stanford Shopping Center, the iconic Glass Cube on Fifth Avenue, and the headquarters store at One Infinite Loop. The app is available for free with the ability to give a donation, but only on Mac. For WUFT's Tech Tomorrow, I'm Jacob Sedesse. See you next time. Back to you, Ariana.
Thanks, Jacob. Speaking of electronics, now might be the time to buy a new computer. Florida's back-to-school sales tax holiday began Monday, and it covers a few categories of items. Let's break down what items you can save on now. Learning aids and jigsaw puzzles under $30, most school supplies under $50, clothing, footwear, and accessories under $100, and don't forget computers and accessories under $1,500 are all exempt from sales tax. The savings ends Sunday, August 17th.
The Harn Museum's newest exhibit showcases art from the people who keep the place running. The new staff art show highlights art in various forms made by the building's guards, educators, and registrars. The exhibit began at the wall yesterday. The website says it will run until September 18th.
University of Florida Performing Arts unveiled the lineup for its 2022-2023 season. The season opens on September 23rd with an audience request concert from drummer Max Weinberg. This season's theatrical performances include Chicago, Disney's Winnie the Pooh, My Fair Lady, and Macbeth, presented by actors from the London States. In March, the UF Opera Theater and Symphony Orchestra will present the classic opera Carmen. Among the musical artists on the lineup this year are the percussion group Stomp, Andy McKee, and Buffalo Rose. Tickets go on sale August 27th at noon, but affiliates get access to advanced purchases. All these events sound so much fun, but unfortunately the weather is raining on my parade and keeping me inside.
I know, when will we ever get a break? When First at 5 returns, Derrah will give us the details. Don't go away.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Temperatures are in the upper 80s right now across much of North Florida, with the exception of 76 in Ocala and 82 in Crystal River. The rest of this week, well, right now it's not too cloudy outside, with the exception of a few cumulus clouds popping up, so lots of room for that direct sun to shine on you as you're headed home this evening. The bulk of our storms are centered south of Gainesville and Ocala. Lots of lightning in that village's area, and a few storms north of Gainesville in the Stark area and in Perry. Hour by hour, we're going to be in the upper 80s, 6 p.m., but continually decreasing in temperature as these storms pass through. We're going to go from a 60% chance of rain at 6 p.m. to 20% chance between the hours of 8 and 10 p.m. this evening. As you wake up tomorrow morning, those thunderstorms are going to cool down temperatures across the board. You're going to wake up to temperatures in the low 70s, with the exception of 80 degrees in Cedar Key. This rest of the week is going to be hot. Temperatures are going to rise tomorrow. It's going to be 74 as you wake up and head off to work. By noon, a few isolated thunderstorms are going to pop up and temperatures are going to ramp up to 91 degrees. It's going to ramp up again to 94 as we head off later into the evening, with further thunderstorms bubbling up off the coast here, as you can see, Cross City. But are they going to pass through Gainesville? Well, just a few. So with these decreased chance for thunderstorms, temperatures are going to continue to rise. Later into the evening, they're going to head off the east coast, and 8 p.m. we're going to be clear. So the rest of this week, we're going to warm up. Heat index values are going to be near 105 degrees, and rain chances are going to shrink closer to the weekend. It's going to be in the mid to upper 90s the rest of this week, Friday being our hottest day yet, with the heat index nearing 110 degrees. Our chance for showers are going to drop off into this weekend and much slim to none the rest of this week. So if you have any outdoor plans, I would recommend drinking plenty of water and staying cool. Back to you.
Thanks again, Derrah. Up next is sports. Our own Jason Bennett is here now to talk about it.
Jason, what do you have for us today?
Well, Stephen A. Smith comes to Gainesville tonight to chomp it with the Gators. Plus an update on Brittany Griner, who could possibly make her way home. I'll have that and more after the break.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back. I'm Jason Bennett. Basketball star Brittany Griner told Russian judge today she uses medical marijuana for sports and injuries, but never meant to bring it to Russia. She told the judge today, "My career is my whole life." The WNBA star has been playing off-season in Russia for several years, but was arrested at an airport this spring for having a illegal vapor cartridge. Griner says she packed quickly and brought it accidentally. She pled guilty, but is trying to show there was no criminal intent. The U.S. Secretary of State says he'll follow up in the coming days on a prisoner swap proposal that could free Griner and another American. In other sports news, 22 current and former UF swimmers are competing at the national championships in California. So far, the Gators have 2 gold medals. Natalie Hines struck gold in the 100-meter freestyle, and volunteer coach Katie Sedesse won gold in the 800-meter freestyle on opening night. Several Gators have turned into top 10 results. Former Boston Red Sox slugger David Ortiz is now a Hall of Famer. Ortiz, also known as Big Papi, started his career with the Minnesota Twins, but rose to fame as a member of the Boston Red Sox. The slugger hit over 500 home runs in his career, route to 10 All-Star appearances, 3 World Series rings, and a World Star Series MVP in 2013. His number 34 was retired by the Red Sox. Lastly, ESPN sports analyst Stephen A. Smith will join the Gator Nation tonight. The well-known sports commentator will be speaking on campus. He's been absent from his show in July. He tweeted that he needed a rehab for his shoulder surgery. Tonight's 7 p.m. event at University Auditorium is free for students only. That is it for sports. Now back to Ariana and Cristina.
Thanks, Jason. Finally, the $830 million Mega Millions jackpot surged over $1 billion after no ticket matched all 6 winning numbers in last night's drawing. The next drawing will be Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern. If there is a winning ticket, it will be in the 3rd largest Mega Millions jackpot prize in the game's 20-year history. The largest Mega Millions jackpot was over $1.5 billion. That winning ticket was sold in South Carolina in October 2018, and a group of 4 players in Michigan won $1.05 billion in January 2021. Good luck to everyone playing. Cristina, if you were to win $1 billion, what would you do?
Honestly, go on vacation. What about you?
I would probably pay my student loans.
True. That is a good reason, actually.
Yeah.
Before we go, one last check on the weather. Derrah, take us away.
Passing thunderstorms are going to cool down temperatures a lot as you wake up in the low 70s tomorrow morning, with the exception of 80 degrees in Cedar Key. The rest of the week is going to be in the mid to upper 90s, with Friday being our hottest day of the week yet. It looks like it's going to be 96, but it's going to feel like it's almost 110 degrees. Back to you.
Thanks, Derrah. That's it for tonight's edition of First at 5. BBC World News is up next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
But remember, your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. For all of us here at the INC Innovation News Center, I am Ariana Psarakos.
And I'm Cristina Santiago. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.